What if I told you there's a forbidden book that scholars and theologians have spent centuries trying to erase from history? A book that doesn't just challenge the church's teachings, it flips the script entirely. The Book of Lucifer is said to tell the story of good and evil from an angle the world wasn't ready to hear. If this text truly existed, what would it reveal? And why was it hidden so carefully, even burned to extinction? Number 1. The elusive mystery of the banned book. Before we dive into what the Book of Lucifer might contain, let's explore its elusive history. Unlike other banned texts, such as the Book of Enoch, which was rediscovered in Ethiopian Orthodox scripture, or the Gospel of Judas, unearthed in a Coptic manuscript, the Book of Lucifer remains a ghost. The first whispers of its existence come from early Christian writers who dismissed it as heretical fiction. Some suggest it was a Gnostic text, written by those who saw spiritual enlightenment as the ultimate goal. These early Christians often framed Lucifer not as a demonic rebel, but as a tragic figure, a bringer of light, a misunderstood seeker of truth. So why would such a book be suppressed? To answer that, we need to consider the political landscape of the early church. In its formative years, the church wasn't just establishing a spiritual doctrine, it was consolidating power. Any text that presented an alternative narrative to the one being promoted by church leaders posed a direct threat to their authority. Number 2, the power of narrative control. In history, whoever controls the narrative holds the power. The church's decision to exclude certain books from the Bible during the councils of Hippo, 393 CE, and Carthage, 397 CE, was more than a spiritual exercise. It was a political one. Texts like the Book of Enoch or the Gospel of Mary were labeled apocryphal, relegated to the fringes of theological discussion. The Book of Lucifer, however, was treated with even greater severity. If it existed, it wasn't merely dismissed, it was condemned and obliterated. Early church fathers likely saw it as a threat not just to their teachings, but to the moral framework they were building. A text that humanized Lucifer or reframed his rebellion against God would undermine the very foundation of Christianity, where obedience and submission to divine authority are central themes. The speculative nature of the Book of Lucifer lies at the heart of its mystique, presenting a tantalizing yet dangerous narrative that challenges deeply entrenched religious beliefs. While no confirmed manuscript of this book exists, fragments and allusions in other banned or suppressed texts have provided fertile ground for theorizing its contents. Central to this speculation are 3 transformative ideas that could redefine the concepts of knowledge, sin, and rebellion. One of the most striking claims is that Lucifer might be depicted as the bringer of knowledge. In this interpretation, Lucifer's role is not one of deception, as traditionally portrayed in Christian doctrine, but of enlightenment. This parallels the serpent in the Garden of Eden, who tempts Adam and Eve to eat the forbidden fruit. Far from being an act of evil, this act is reimagined as the dawn of human self-awareness. The so-called fall of humanity might instead be seen as an elevation, a moment when human beings gained the power of free will and the capacity for self-determination. In this narrative, knowledge becomes both a gift and a burden, with Lucifer serving as the catalyst for humanity's awakening. Equally provocative is the reimagining of sin. Christian doctrine traditionally frames sin as the result of disobedience to divine authority, a moral failing that separates humanity from God. However, the Book of Lucifer is speculated to offer a radically different perspective, that sin is not inherently evil, but is the natural consequence of enlightenment. In this view, the pursuit of knowledge and autonomy, qualities that define human progress, inevitably comes at a cost. Sin, therefore, is not a mark of corruption, but a byproduct of breaking free from imposed limitations. It suggests a more nuanced understanding of morality, where growth and self-realization require difficult choices and sacrifices. Perhaps the most revolutionary aspect of the Book of Lucifer would be its reframing of Lucifer's rebellion. Rather than depicting Lucifer as a prideful and defiant adversary, this text might portray him as a figure resisting tyranny. In this alternate narrative, God could be seen not as a benevolent creator, but as a ruler who jealously guards divine power, unwilling to share it with his creations. Lucifer's rebellion, then, is not an act of selfish pride, but a necessary stand against authoritarian control. It transforms him into a tragic hero, sacrificing his place in heaven to challenge an unjust hierarchy and spark humanity's journey toward self-discovery. These reinterpretations align closely with Gnostic ideas, which view the material world as inherently flawed and advocate for spiritual awakening as the path to salvation. In this light, Lucifer's fall becomes a selfless act, a deliberate descent to empower humanity with the tools needed to seek higher truths. By rejecting the binary framework of good versus evil, the Book of Lucifer invites readers to grapple with the complexities of moral and spiritual growth. It paints a picture of a universe where rebellion, knowledge, and even sin are not merely acts of defiance, but necessary steps in the pursuit of enlightenment and liberation. If such a perspective were widely embraced, it would challenge the foundational teachings of many religious traditions, reshaping humanity's understanding of its place in the cosmos. Through this lens, the Book of Lucifer becomes not just a banned text, but a potential manifesto for spiritual and intellectual freedom. Number 3. The Church's fear of the Book of Lucifer. The Church's apprehension toward the Book of Lucifer stems from the radical nature of its purported interpretations. If these ideas were widely accepted, they could have posed an existential threat to the core teachings of Christianity. To the early Church, this text was not merely heretical, it was incendiary. By reinterpreting Lucifer's role and challenging the clear-cut binary between good and evil, the Book of Lucifer would have ignited a spiritual revolution, one that redefined morality and humanity's relationship with divinity. At the heart of this fear lies the challenge to the traditional narrative of salvation. Christianity has long relied on dualistic frameworks to guide moral and spiritual understanding: heaven and hell, God and Satan, good and evil, obedience and sin. These dichotomies provide clarity and a sense of order, offering believers a straightforward path to salvation. However, the Book of Lucifer threatens to blur these distinctions, suggesting that morality is far more nuanced and complex than a simple choice between opposites. One of the most unsettling questions raised by the book's alleged interpretations is whether rebellion is always wrong. Lucifer's defiance, traditionally framed as an act of pride and disobedience, is recast in this text as a stand against oppression, a courageous attempt to break free from divine autocracy. If rebellion can be an act of moral courage, then what does that say about the Church's historical emphasis on obedience? This reinterpretation would force believers to grapple with uncomfortable questions about the nature of authority, power, and free will. Equally provocative is the idea that knowledge, often framed as dangerous and corrupting, might be worth the cost of suffering. The Church has long warned against the perils of unchecked curiosity, emphasizing faith and obedience over the pursuit of forbidden truths. Yet the Book of Lucifer suggests that the pursuit of knowledge is not a betrayal of God, but an essential part of human evolution. In this narrative, enlightenment comes with a price: sin, suffering, and exile. But it also leads to autonomy and spiritual awakening. Such a perspective fundamentally challenges the Church's teachings on the fall of man, reframing it as a necessary step in humanity's journey towards self-awareness. By questioning these core tenets, the Book of Lucifer threatens to dismantle the moral frameworks that underpin much of Christian doctrine. It does not simply question the narrative of Lucifer's fall, it challenges the very foundations of the Church's authority. If the lines between good and evil, obedience and rebellion are not absolute, then the Church's role as the arbiter of moral and spiritual truth is called into question. This potential for upheaval explains why the Church would have suppressed the Book of Lucifer so rigorously. Its ideas do not merely critique established doctrine, they offer an entirely new lens through which to view the relationship between humanity, divinity, and morality. For centuries, this text has been seen as a Pandora's box, one that could unravel the carefully constructed narrative of salvation and force believers to confront the complexities of free will, knowledge, and rebellion. Ultimately, the Church's fear of the Book of Lucifer is rooted in its power to inspire questions that have no easy answers. By embracing ambiguity and challenging the dichotomies that have long defined Christianity, the book invites readers to explore a more intricate and perhaps unsettling vision of the divine. In doing so, it holds the potential to upend centuries of theological tradition and reshape the spiritual landscape in profound and unpredictable ways. Number 4. Connections to other forbidden texts. Interestingly, the Book of Lucifer isn't the only ancient text to present alternative views of the divine. The Gospel of Judas, for example, portrays Judas not as a traitor, but as a chosen disciple who carried out God's will by betraying Jesus. Similarly, the Book of Enoch describes a host of fallen angels who taught humanity forbidden knowledge, from weapon-making to astrology. These texts share a common thread. They challenge the traditional narrative of divine authority and human obedience. Could the Book of Lucifer be part of this tradition? A hidden piece of a larger puzzle? Number 5. The search for the lost text. Over the years, the search for the Book of Lucifer has captivated scholars, theologians, and conspiracy theorists alike. Some believe it might be hidden in the Vatican's secret archives, alongside other suppressed documents. Others speculate that it was destroyed during the Church's campaigns against heresy in the Middle Ages. However, there are those who suggest that fragments of the book might still exist, disguised within other texts, or preserved in oral traditions. The Nag Hammadi Library, discovered in Egypt in 1945, revealed a treasure trove of Gnostic writings that had been hidden for centuries. Could a similar discovery await us? A forgotten manuscript that sheds light on Lucifer's story? Number 6. Why does this matter today? The idea of the Book of Lucifer isn't just a historical curiosity. It's a lens through which we can examine our modern beliefs. In an age where information is power, the suppression of knowledge, whether ancient or contemporary, carries profound implications. What does it say about humanity that we've been so quick to label certain ideas as dangerous, heretical, or evil? And what does it say about the Church that it has fought so hard to control the narrative of good and evil for centuries? The Book of Lucifer forces us to confront these questions, challenging us to rethink the stories we've been told and the values we hold dear. So what do you think? Could the Book of Lucifer be real? Or is it simply a myth born from the fragments of suppressed ideas? If it were ever uncovered, how do you think it would change the way we view faith, morality, and the battle between good and evil? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your take on this intriguing mystery. And if you found this deep dive as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. After all, the truth, no matter how hidden, is always worth exploring. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next video.